What's up, trainers? Jumpmaster here, bringing you exciting Pokemon Go news and updates with tips and tricks on how to enhance your Pokemon Go gameplay and experience. Today, we will be doing some Ferocious Cup battles. Lately, I haven't had a whole lot of time to practice with all of this weather change. I've been feeling a little under the weather, but here we are at it again. My first opponent, and only opponent today, one of my scrim partners, Juiced 12714. Will be doing about 7 or 8 matches with me. I haven't really looked too much into this tournament. As I said, I've been feeling a little under the weather, but let's get into it. So I do start with a Shelgon against his Umbreon. This is a negative matchup for me, but I am going to sit in here and try to at least pull one of his shields. I definitely do not want to bring in my Lairon, as that would not be a good viable pick for this right here. But I will go for this flamethrower. I think he does let this go through. It does a decent amount of damage, and then we're just going to try to shield up this next incoming attack that he's going to throw at us. It is a foul play, and just try to deal as much neutral damage to that Umbreon as we can. We're going to let this, I think this is also a foul play. We're just going to let this come through and feint off the Shelgon. Bring in the Bidoof, and he's probably going to throw something in that counters this. But instead he doesn't. He does throw in a Bidoof himself. I do try swapping it out, but it just would not let me. So here we are, Bidoof versus Bidoof. We do know that Hyper Fang would be the positive use in this match. So we're just going to throw Hyper Fangs at each other just to do as much neutral damage as we can. And then I do get to the Surf, so I will let that off as well. I still do not know who his third Pokemon in the back is. He does block that. And I try to feint him down, but it just does not work. We know this is probably going to be a Surf, so we shield this up. Instead, it was a Hyper Fang. Bad call on my decision. Once this Nidoqueen comes out, we know that we have lost this match already, so we're going to throw this Body Slam, in which he'll probably shield. Yes, he does. And incoming Earth Power, and that will be GG's for Game 1. Alright, and going into the next game, I think I actually lead with a Nidoqueen here. Let's see, yeah. And out comes his Ferret. I'm pretty comfortable with this. As you can see, at the moment, my Nidoqueen does not have a second charge move. I just have totally forgot to unlock one for him. I didn't even know that until I came into this game. We know he's charged up plenty of energy. This right here is more than likely going to be a Brick Break coming at us on our end. And instead it's a Hyper Beam, and we get pretty much one-shotted. Pretty smooth. So we come back out with our Nidoqueen. We do have his Minun locked in place. So this right here is probably a Thunderbolt. We're going to let that come through and hold on to these shields. We're going to charge up just a little bit of extra energy and then throw the Stone Edge at it. He does let that go through, and it almost KOs him, but it's just not quite enough. So we will shield up this next Thunderbolt that comes at us and just feint it down with fast attacks. I don't remember what he comes back out with. He does come back out with that Ferret. I think he just sacked it right here. Yeah, he just sacks the Ferret just for the energy reset. And then he has a Vaporeon, and out comes my Skuntank. So I'm still pretty comfortable with this, seeing how his health was already taken down just a little bit. We are at a 1-1 shield, so I will throw a Crunch to pull that second shield off of him. And then I still have a shield, so we know this right here is more than likely an Aqua Tail, but it will KO us, so we don't want that KO to come through. We're going to use our last shield and build back up to this Crunch and let off that second Crunch to the Vaporeon, and that should be GG's for Game 2. Moving on into our third round, I wanted to play out with this Alolan Raticate. I have Umbreons with Last Resort and Umbreons without Last Resort. I'm just really, undecided on what I want to use for the Richmond tournament coming up on the 9th. I'm pretty comfortable with the Skuntank versus Umbreon matchup, so he will use Last Resort, and he catches the switch right there. That was pro move. Good stuff juiced. So it wouldn't let me switch out. So here I am just building up energy on that Alolan Ninetales with those poison jabs. Out comes his Bidoof. So I do switch to my Alolan Raticate. I don't shield this. No, I don't. And it is a Surf. So I will be trying to build up to that Hyper Fang to get this off on that Bidoof. At the time I recorded this, I was trying to see if you could get to one Hyper Fang and one Hyper Beam versus the Bidoof on a one shield scenario, and the answer is no. So in comes my Alolan Ninetales, and that charm damage is just going to start deleting that Bidoof. I will shield this up because I do not know who his last Pokemon is. And it is an Umbreon. This is great for us right here. We could have either gone Psyshock or built up to the Ice Beam. We know that the Ice Beam will deal, significant damage to that Umbreon. He more than likely will block this. And he let it go through, so I swap into my Skuntank immediately and just go ahead and let that Sludge Bomb off. So that's GG's for Game 3. Moving into Game 4, just random picks, just trying to get the feel for this this cup this month. Usually not like this, but the meta is just so in depth with the different combinations that you can throw together. So once again, I will be trying out this Alolan Raticate in this matchup. It's a Minun on Vaporeon right here. He will immediately switch into his Umbreon. Now, as you see on my Minun, I was running Swift at the time. I just kind of wanted to see how Swift was going to play out in some of these matches. Just to go ahead and give a heads up, it's not playing out the way that I thought it would be playing out. So we do switch into the Shelgon. We know he already has some foul plays built up, but we also know we're just trying to deal as much neutral damage to that Umbreon as we possibly can. So I think he does throw another foul play right here, which is the smart play off of an Umbreon to whenever you're facing a Shelgon. So he does get me to energy reset, and he immediately swaps into his Alolan Ninetales. So I do come out with my Alolan Raticate, and this was a very bad call on my part. As you see, it is just deleting that Alolan Raticate. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I think I was actually trying to get up to a Hyper Beam, but as soon as I got to it, I fainted. So then in comes my Minun, but it's already pretty much dead, and he still has a whole Pokemon in the back, so he's just going to charm me down and doesn't even need to use his charged attack on me. So GG's that game, and going into Game 5. A big thing I've noticed in this meta is if you are scared to use your shields and you are, trying to conserve them, that's can be considered a risky play depending on what your lineup is. So here we go. I do lead with Nidoqueen, and it is Bidoof. We know Nidoqueen versus Bidoof, that's not a good matchup. So we're going to switch out into our own Bidoof. Here he changes into his Alolan Ninetales. So we're just going to throw a Surf off, try and pull a shield. And we get it. So now we're just going to build right back up to another Surf. We know he probably will not shield this one up. So we're looking pretty good. Ninetales is one hit away. I think I come in with my own. Nope. I come back in with my Nidoqueen, and I'm going to shield up the Psyshock. Either way, we just want to start building up some energy gain on this Nidoqueen. Back comes in his Bidoof. We know that this right here is a Surf, so we will shield that up. And with the energy reset, we will switch back into our Alolan Ninetales, but he calls us, and now he has his own Nidoqueen versus our Alolan Ninetales. He will get to that Earth Power a lot quicker than we can get to a Psyshock or Stone Edge. It was a Stone Edge. He also is running Earth Power on that Nidoqueen, so we will get this Stone Edge off on his Nidoqueen, and he blocks it, but there's nothing else we can do during this game to even try and come back, so that is going to be GG's for Game 5. Moving into game 6, we both have a mirror match with Umbreon. This is one of my Umbreons without the last resort. There's a lot of talk going on whether you can and cannot win, your tournament with an Umbreon without last resort. Throughout the few matches I did play with Umbreon, I did fairly well. Speaking on an Umbreon without last resort, I just think that last resort gives you an extra, like King says, it gives you extra matches is pretty much all it does. Just a few extra matches. Now here we have him switching into his Alolan Raichu after he used that, so we will Brick Break it. I really do enjoy using Ferret for this Ferocious meta. He just gets them Brick Breaks so quick. The only downfall on it is he gets to every other move exceptionally slow. But we will have, I think this right here is a Brick Break against us, so we're just going to let this go through. And we're going to come out with our Umbreon, and I think he throws a Brick Break at us. We could have took this, or Wild Charge. That was a smart play to block that. We're going to launch this Foul Play off and KO that Alolan, or not Alolan, that Kanto Raichu, and then out comes his Skuntank. I do have a couple foul plays built up right here, I think, so I do launch them back to back, just trying to do as much damage as I possibly can. This is one of those matchups that I strongly think you do need last resort in order to win, unless you both have 2 shields. He switches out into his Umbreon, and in comes a foul play. Our Lairon has got a body slam already built up, so we're going to throw that at the Umbreon, and then we're just going to start trying to slam that, or spam that body slam. And I strongly believe that Lairon is a sleeper Pokemon for this, for this cup. I do not know why I Rock Slid right here, but he does block it. I think if I would have just body slammed, I would have been able to get up to yet another body slam and KO that Umbreon. Either way, we take this foul play to the face, and then out comes our Umbreon. He switches into a Skuntank. I think this is a Sludge. Yep, Sludge Bomb. So it kind of forces us right here to play a foul play, but he gets to that crunch just so fast. So even if we would have tried to charge up a little bit of energy, it wouldn't have mattered. So GG's on game 6. And moving into our game number 7. Once again, I'm trying to switch up team comps, trying to switch Pokemon around, just trying to make different strategies. I don't really want nobody to know what I'm going to be doing whenever I get there on the 9th. But out of the top 6 pick, per se, I've already got a strong 4. So I don't have a spicy pick yet, but I have one in mind. Anyway, back to this game. We get up to this Hyper Fang, trying to deal that neutral damage on Vaporeon. We do get the shield, so we will swap out to our Skuntank. We know this is probably an Aqua Tail. We do shield this up right here, and we're just going to try and build up to a crunch. I was getting some lag during this match, and I think the next 2 matches, I don't even think like the very last match I ended up putting in this video due to how bad the lag was. Juice definitely had me in the game, but the lag was just totally horrible. But anyway, so we used the crunch right there to get rid of that Vaporeon, and he's going to come out with this Alolan Sandslash. So we're just going to throw a crunch at this Alolan Sandslash. We should have built up to a Sludge Bomb, and then threw that Sludge Bomb at him. We could have got to it. I don't know why I didn't do that. And why I switched into Nidoqueen right here, I think I was just trying to sack it. We know that them Ice Punches build up super fast. We just want to get rid of his energy gains that he has right there for that Alolan Sandslash. And then we're going to come back out with that Skuntank to waste that final Ice Punch that he had. Down goes the Skuntank, and in comes the Bibarel. But he has a Minun sitting in the back waiting on us. And we all know that Minun has the energy. Plus, Minun has the, we're weak to it, so we're going to launch this Hyper Fang at the Minun. He's going to let that go through, and then we're going to try to just feint it down, and we do get to feint it down, but he still has a shield in the back. So we will use the Surf, just trying to burn that other shield. At the same time, we know that Alolan Sand Slash will get to an Ice Punch exceptionally fast, but that water gun damage is just too much for it. So GG's on that game. And I think this is game 8 that we're going into right here. Yeah, game 8. So I am going to finally lead with a Alolan Ninetales. It's something I haven't done since I have started practicing. Maybe out of 15 games, this is one of the only ones I've actually started with an Alolan Ninetales. As we see here, it's up against the Vaporeon. The Vaporeon will launch an Aqua Tail at us, so we will just let that go through, and we're just going to Charm damage it down. We will use the Psyshock either to burn a shield or to KO it. He does let that go through, which means he probably has an Umbreon in the back somewhere. He comes out with this Alolan Sand Slash, but it would not let me change. Either way, we got to a Psyshock, so we're going to try and burn that shield, but yet he still lets that go through. But we know he has tons of energy gain in the back on that Alolan Sand Slash. So I come in with my Bibarel, and then he shows me that he does have an Alolan Ninetales in the back. I do want to burn that second shield on his part and then try to switch over to the Shelgon. Now, this isn't the, smartest thing to do, Shelgon versus Alolan Ninetales, but I definitely took a risk here. So I will use that Twister to try and get the last shield, and we do get it. So we know this right here is more than likely going to be a Psyshock, so we will block that up. And we're just going to continue to build us up some energy against this Alolan Ninetales. As you can notice, I still do have that one shield up there. But although he still has this energy gain, I think he has 2 Ice Punches saved up. So I block the first one, and then the second one automatically comes in, and that should take out my Bibarel. And that will be GG's for Game 8. Thank you, Juiced, for helping me practice a little bit, and major thanks to everybody out there that watches my channel and supports me in my hobby, which is Pokemon Go. If you like my channel and would like to see more content, please hit that like button and hit the subscribe, and I'll have more to you as soon as I can get it to you. Jumpmaster out.